All right, greetings everybody, and welcome to week number 9. That is right, week number 9 of your 7314 class. As always, I'm your professor, Dr. Jace K. Austin, and what we are going to do today is not so much of a state of the course update this time. We don't have much of that going on, but what we are going to do is we are going to do a little bit of a check-in video here just to explain what's going on with the rest of this announcement, because you will all see that this announcement has a lot going on. And there is a reason for that. It's because the LibGuide assignment tends to be something that causes a lot of nerves in a lot of students. And so there are materials within this announcement, including a Spring Share tutorial and a previous check-in video that I've done in a previous iteration of this course, and these as well as a few words of guidance and that sort of thing. And these things are actually in the course so that well, basically to ease your mind and ease your tensions a little bit. Again, I've dealt with people in past iterations of this course. There have been students who were just they saw the LibGuide, they saw the rubric, they saw the LibGuide prompt, and they saw the rubric, and then they just kind of freaked out. And I don't want that. I actually want you all to have fun with this assignment. And really, when you do learn how to do a LibGuide right, and you can be kind of creative with them and things like that, once you get to that point, a lot of people actually do enjoy the LibGuide. But there is kind of an introductory period where you do have to learn a new software application and that sort of thing. And so some people get really nervous about that. And so, yeah, basically the materials included in this announcement are meant to kind of soothe your nerves, just allow you to say, okay, this isn't so bad. Let me just take a look at what Dr. Jace is sharing here. And if I kind of look at it and just, just go into this with an open mind and go into this without being, too uptight, then maybe I will have a good time with this assignment, and that's what I want you all to have. So anyway, let me pause for a second, and we will jump into this. Well, first of all, no, before I pause, I do want to say there isn't much of a state of the course update that's going to be necessary with this video here. The main thing that I do need to tell you all, or the main two things, I guess, are continue working on your semester-long projects. Again, those have already been released. The semester-long project has now been updated and released. That happened a couple weeks ago. So you should be working on that right now so that it doesn't sneak up on you at the end. And then the second thing I want to say is I have not gotten my Wikipedia edit assignments from everybody yet, and that is a problem. If you had made arrangements with me ahead of time to let me know that you were going to be late and here's why, and I approve that, then you have nothing to worry about. This doesn't apply to you. But I've actually got some Wikipedia edit assignments that are outstanding, and I was not made aware ahead of time that they were going to be turned in late. So you may be subject to some, if that applies to you, you may be subject to some late penalties and that sort of thing, but go ahead and get that into me. All right, I'm going to pause for a second, and then we're going to get into just helping you out a little bit with easing your mind on these LibGuides, and I'm going to share a few things with you. All right, so first of all, I do want to go back into, and by the way, you can speed this up, and you probably should speed this video up. First things first, I did want to go back into the prompt and show you all, again, I'm not going to go through this prompt by prompt, but I do want to show you all that, again, this is a very long rubric. The rubric starts here, and as you can see, yes, it's a 25-point assignment, but as you can see here, there are a lot of prongs in this rubric, okay? So if you scroll down, you'll see a lot of things that I'm going to be evaluating you all on, and I want you all to be familiar with all of the components of the rubric, because it can be, when you are dealing with a bigger rubric, it can be easy to kind of overlook something and miss something and then miss points because you overlooked something in the rubric. So the first thing that I want to tell you all is do not procrastinate when it comes to the LibGuide assignment. Go ahead and make sure that you are kind of giving yourself, it's due on April the 14th. So you've got about a month to do this. And that's something that needs to be clear right off the bat as well, is that when you are actually in professional practice, a lot of times once you are, I guess, used to making LibGuides, I should say, then you might have employers who expect you to have a LibGuide completed within 2 or 3 days, or maybe even 1 day. So when you are in professional practice, they're not going to be giving you a month to put your LibGuides together if you have to put one together. It's going to be within the week, usually within 2 or 3 days. You are going to have you're going to need to have your LibGuides finished. So that's something that I want you all to be aware of right off the bat, is that you are being given a month's worth of time to accomplish something that when you are in professional practice, they're going to expect you to do in 2 or 3 days. Okay. But what I want you all to do is not procrastinate and realize that because you have a month, that does give you enough time to kind of familiarize yourself with this rubric and all of the things that you are expected to do within the rubric. And that way you should not miss anything. Excuse me, you should not miss anything, hopefully. Okay. So again, look at the rubric, make sure you understand everything that's going on in the rubric. And then also, one thing to pay attention to is the video tutorial. You're going, in addition to putting the LibGuide together, you're going to be responsible for actually adding a video tutorial within you're going to be expected to add a video tutorial inside of the rubric. Oh God, I am butchering it tonight. I'm sorry. You are going to be expected to add a video tutorial into the LibGuide there. Now we got it right. So make sure that you are ready to do that, and that you are, I personally recommend the software that I use, which is Screencast-O-Matic. But there are other things you can use like Jing and that sort of thing. But yes, you are going to have to create a video. Don't miss that part. And again, as long as you pay attention to the prompt, you will see all of these things and you will be guided accordingly. Okay. Now, as far as learning a new software application, I do also want it to be clear, because people get kind of nervous about, oh, I'm having to learn a new software application. There's going to be a learning curve, this, that, and other. And so I want you all to be aware that you've learned harder software applications than LibGuides before, most likely. So if you are dealing with LibGuides for the first time and you're thinking to yourself, oh man, this is kind of hard, there's a learning curve, that sort of thing. Yes, there is a learning curve, but trust me, the learning curve is not any more difficult than Photoshop or InDesign or Microsoft Excel and a lot of these other things that people use every single day. If you are using any sort of software to edit videos and that sort of thing, then you have learned a software application that is as difficult or more difficult to learn than LibGuide. So I want that to be clear, okay? So I don't want you all to get into the spirit of, oh man, this is a new software application, I've got to figure this, that, and out, and the other end, it's going to take me a long time. You have learned more difficult things, and so I want you all to go in this, and I want you all to go into this feeling empowered that because you've learned more difficult things in the past, you're going to be able to pick up on the LibGuide software and master that as well. Okay. Okay. In the same way that I've been telling you all that I want you all to realize that you've learned a harder software application, probably in your past, that is something that I have that I want to mention in order to kind of ease your minds and let you know that, hey, it's going to be okay. And another thing that I want to say to, again, kind of reiterate that, hey, it's going to be okay, you guys can handle this, is that is the reason why you have the previous check-in video. As you're going to see in the announcement here, you're going to see a previous check-in video from a previous iteration of the course. And the reason that's in there is because prior to me making that check-in video that semester, every single semester I had a lot of people who were just kind of nervous all throughout the process. I was getting all these emails all throughout the process and that sort of thing from people. And they were just nervous that they weren't going to be able to get the, that they weren't going to be able to be successful and put together a good LibGuide, right? And so what I did was I started, for whatever reason, once I did that particular check-in video that particular semester, that you're going to see that link below for that check-in video in the previous semester. I guess what I did was I just hit all the prongs appropriately that semester, okay? So, whereas prior to that, I was having a lot of people and they would email me and they would say, hey, Dr. J's this, hey, Dr. J's that, I'm nervous, this, that, and the other, and they were second guessing themselves. I guess what I did was I hit all of the concerns in that check-in video that you're going to see linked below. And so from there, that particular semester, I had people who were a lot more successful, a lot more confident, and I got fewer emails with concerns. And don't get me wrong, you can message me or email me if you have concerns, but I'm just saying it was good to have a check-in video that kind of did away with all that, if that makes sense, that kind of had people off the edge, if you will. And so people were just doing the assignment without having all the nerves and everything. And that's what I want for you all too. And so once I started putting that old check-in video in the course every single semester, again, there was less confusion and less nervousness, and a lot more people just saying, hey, we can do this. And so that's what I want for you all too. So that's why that previous check-in video is going to be below. It's so that you all can, if you can make the time, I know it's long, but if you all can make the time to watch it and you can speed it up, that will ease a lot of your concerns, and it will have a lot of you saying, okay, I can do this, and I don't need to keep stressing out and keep contacting the professor, letting them know how nervous I am about it and that sort of thing. Don't get me wrong, I love hearing from you, but I don't love hearing that you're distressed, okay? When I hear from you all, I want to hear, oh, I'm having a good day. I don't want to hear, oh God, I'm so nervous, I don't know what to do. I don't want y'all to be miserable, believe it or not, okay? Okay, so some other things that I want to point out within this LibGuide video before you actually go ahead and get into the materials and try to figure things out on your own is I do want you all to be aware, first of all, that, and let me show you this in the prompt here. So I want you all to be aware that even though, yes, it does, I think there is somewhere in here where it's telling you to pick something serious or scholarly or that sort of thing. And I want you all to realize or to be aware that I am actually not wedded to that. What I want you all to do is have fun with this project, have fun with this assignment. And the way to have fun with this assignment is to do your LibGuide on something that you enjoy and something that you're going to enjoy spending a lot of time with. So you don't have to have something serious like I don't know, mathematics or government information or something like that. You can do your LibGuide on a topic that you would enjoy. And so a lot of people in the past, they've done like a LibGuide on their hometown or a LibGuide on their hobby or a LibGuide on their favorite type of music and things of that nature. And that is perfectly fine and totally legit. As long as you are doing this LibGuide on something that you actually enjoy spending time with and enjoy researching, that's going to help you do better on the assignment because you're focused on something that you're interested in. Now, what I will say is there may be some topics that are inappropriate and there may be some topics that need to be refined. So I will say that if you are working on a topic that, or if you're thinking about a topic, I should say, and you're not sure whether or not that topic is going to be viable, then all you need to do again is contact me and I will tell you thumbs up, thumbs down, or let's refine it. So there are going to be some things that I may not want you to actually do the LibGuide on because they are inappropriate. So yeah, I don't even want to come up with an example right now, but there's just going to be some things that you don't want to do the LibGuide on, especially if you're going to use the LibGuide, because you'll have access to the LibGuides in the future as well. You're going to have access to them beyond this course so that you can add them to your ePortfolio and so that you can also add them to application materials when you're applying for a job. So there are going to be some things like, for instance, I don't know, this is probably a terrible example, but it's the example that came to my mind. I would actually recommend doing I would recommend against doing a LibGuide on something like pornography because you may not want to when you're applying for a job, like if you want to use your LibGuide for a job application, you may not want to show them this LibGuide that you did on pornography, right? It just might be off-putting to your potential employer. But if you want to do something like, let's say you're a big rock and roll fan and you want to do a LibGuide on rock and roll, that's totally fine. If you're a lot of people do LibGuides on gardening. It happens almost at least once per semester that somebody does a gardening LibGuide. And if you're into gardening and that sort of thing, or if you're into flowers and plant life, you can do your LibGuide specifically on those topics as well, okay? So if you're not sure whether or not something's going to be viable, then just contact me. And again, I will let you know whether or not it's going to fly. A lot of times if I don't approve of something, though, it's not going to be necessarily the subject matter. A lot of times if I don't approve of something, it's because the topic may not be viable. Usually if the topic is not viable, then it's because it's too narrow. And again, I'll use as an example here, there was a specific, I think it was DMX, but there was a specific musical artist that somebody had wanted to do a LibGuide on in the past. Again, I think it was DMX, rest in peace, DMX. But that wasn't a viable topic because you're not going to be able to hit all the source types generally for a specific musical artist unless it's somebody who is like huge, like the Rolling Stones and that sort of thing, or Michael Jackson, you know, people who are that sort of legendary status. And don't get me wrong, I love DMX, but let's not pretend that DMX is in the same category as the Rolling Stones or in the same category as Prince or Michael Jackson. So you do need to use a topic that you're actually going to be able to find these source materials for. Now, when I speak to source materials, I will also say that there is a rubric prong that tells you that you have to find various types of, you have to find one of each of these things. So one print or electronic dictionary, one print or electronic encyclopedia, an index, a database, a geographic resource, biographical, and government information. So what I will say to that is I will invite you all to contact me. Don't be shy. Don't be hesitant. If you want to do a LibGuide on a particular thing, but you do not, for instance, know how to find a biographical source that will fit within the themes of your LibGuide for that, then that's when you can contact me and say, hey, Dr. Jace, I'm doing such and such a topic, but what's the government information source that may fit into the topic, or what's a biographical source that may fit into that topic? And I'll look at your topic and I will help you find those things. I am more than willing to do that. So that's another barrier that I want broken. Yes, you're going to have to find all these various source types, but what I can do is if you communicate with me because you're having a hard time finding a particular source type, that's when you can contact me and I can tell you, I can point you in a direction and I can say, this is why this fits. It does logically fit and here's why. And so that should hopefully alleviate some concerns as well. And by the way, I do also want to just put in that you probably don't want to do anything that's too broad either. So again, topics can be too narrow or too broad. If your topic is too broad, then the problem that you run into there is that then the LibGuide just becomes really unfocused and really messy in that sort of way. So you want to make sure that your topic is focused, but make sure that it's not too focused to where you can't find enough sources, okay? So you do want, yeah, you want some focus, but you don't want to be so focused that you focus yourself out of having the necessary resources that you need or access to the necessary resources that you need because you're so focused that there are only a few things out there, okay? All right, so a couple of other things that I want to mention here. First is that I do want you all to do me a favor and not password protect the LibGuides, at least until after they are graded. And I know somebody's going to do it. It happens every single semester. So I tell people in these check-in videos and in the announcement, hey, don't password protect the LibGuide so that it cannot be seen, because then I can't grade it because I can't see it. And every single semester, at least one person goes ahead and they password protect the LibGuide anyway. And so that really slows down my grading. And that's what I wish people would realize. It does take a long time to grade LibGuides as well. You see that big rubric. It takes a long time to grade them. And every single semester, what ends up happening is one or two people, at least, they password protect the LibGuide as if I'm going to be able to see it if they password protect it. And then I have to slow down my grading, or I have to stop my grading because, oh, okay, now I'm in a flow, I'm grading. And then all of a sudden, oh, it's a password protected LibGuide. Now I've got to contact this person and say, please don't password protect your LibGuide. Lift the password protection until after it is graded so that I can actually see it, because I can't grade something that I can't see. And then I have to wait for that person to unprotect the LibGuide, and then I can grade it, and then I can tell them, okay, now you can go ahead and reprotect the LibGuide. Please do not password protect these LibGuides, okay? At least not until you have a grade. Now, yes, once you have a grade, you can go ahead and password protect it at that point. But I will say that, again, a lot of people use the LibGuide for their ePortfolio, and the LibGuide specifically is for student learning outcome number 4, or SLO 4 for your ePortfolio. So if you are, So if you are planning to use your LibGuide for your ePortfolio, that's a good idea, and go ahead and save the link and all of that stuff so that you can go ahead and put the link into your ePortfolio when the time comes. But yeah, don't password protect it right now. And then after you get the grade, you can password protect it, and then you'll probably be prompted to take the password protections off or share the password when you actually do the ePortfolio and we review your ePortfolio in your final semester. So that's something to be aware of. Another thing that you need to, you don't necessarily need, but another thing that is good to be aware of is that you do have the opportunity, this is sort of unorthodox, but I do allow my students the opportunity to get assistance with the LibGuide. Now, you cannot have somebody do the LibGuide for you, and you cannot copy someone else's LibGuide and turn it in as your own. If you do either of those things, and I found out that you did those things, then yes, you will be considered to have cheated and you will get a 0 for the LibGuide. However, if you have access, and most of you probably do, a lot of people have access to a librarian coworker, somebody who does LibGuides on the regular, and believe it or not, and if your coworker thinks I'm lying, then you can show them this this video right here. Believe it or not, yes, I will allow you to, if you have a coworker who's willing to work with you on creating the LibGuide. In other words, you're in the driver's seat. You're actually at the computer putting the LibGuide together. But if you've got a coworker that's willing to sit beside you and guide you and say, hey, and now you can do this, and now you can do that, and now you can do that, I am perfectly fine with that, you all. I am perfectly fine with you all having a coworker just kind of walk you through the process, because for me, different people learn in different ways. So some people do their best learning on their own, and some people do their best learning like collaboratively. And a lot of what you're going to be learning in your role as a librarian is going to be stuff that you're learning collaboratively with other people. That's the way it is. So why not have the class kind of duplicate professional practice in that way, if that makes sense? So yes, if you've got a coworker that is willing to help walk you through the LibGuide and that sort of thing, that is perfectly fine, and that is not considered cheating as long as you are in the driver's seat, as long as you are taking the lead. But again, they cannot do it for you. And also, if you have access to a LibGuide, no, they are not allowed to, you are not allowed to copy a LibGuide that somebody else made, and then, which there is a way to copy them. I'm not going to tell you how to. But yes, you can't copy one and then make it your own, and then claim that it's your own, and pass it off as your own work. If I catch you doing that, yeah, that will be considered cheating, okay? But yes, by all means, if you think that you'll be more successful by working with a coworker than, or working with somebody who already knows how to do LibGuides, and you're learning, as long as you're learning, I don't care if you learn independently or if you learn through some sort of peer-to-peer way where somebody is helping you through the process. All right, a few other quick points. This is something that comes up every semester. So I do a lot of times have, well, every single semester, somebody kind of asks me about how to actually turn the LibGuide in. So what I'm going to say is, yes, it's going to default to have you put the LibGuide within a folder in LibApps, and you'll see all of this. It'll make sense after you actually do the LibGuide, but these LibGuides are going to go into a folder, and it's going to be the Spring 2024 Austin 7314 folder. You're going to put your LibGuide into that folder. But when you put your LibGuide in that folder, yes, Canvas still, and this is something that a lot of my students, it kind of irks them when they see that Canvas shows that an assignment is still outstanding or still missing when they've turned it in. That happens with the LibGuide because the LibGuide assignment in the LibApp software is not linked to Canvas in any way. So completing the LibGuide in LibApps is not going to cause Canvas to say that you've submitted something. Okay, so for those of you who don't want Canvas showing you, hey, this is a late assignment, this is a late assignment, this is a late assignment. For those of you who get kind of nervous when you see that sort of thing and you want to take care of that, the easiest thing to do, and actually this helps me as well, you are going to have a link. You will see a link to your LibGuide that will generate as you're working on the LibGuide and once you publish the LibGuide. So what you can do if you want to actually have Canvas show that you've submitted the assignment, then what you can do is you can actually put that link in the assignment submission portal. So you can put the link to your LibGuide in the assignment submission portal. You do that, and then Canvas will actually have something that says, okay, something's been turned in, and then you're not being notified that you have a late assignment, if that makes sense. And that actually helps me out too, because when I'm actually grading these, I'm going through in Canvas and what they call Speed Grader, and so for those of you who have taught through Canvas before, you know what Speed Grader is, and I know some of you have. So yeah, if you put that link in there in the submission portal, then I can actually just go boom, and I can pull it up. And then I don't actually have to go back into the folder to get your LibGuide. It'll be right there. The link will be right there, and I can just click the link and grade from there. So that speeds things up for me too. But I say that not for you, not for myself, but for you. Just if you, again, are somebody who gets nervous when you see that Canvas is showing you that you haven't turned an assignment in, put the link in the submission portal, and that will take care of that. That will have Canvas saying, okay, something has been submitted, and that way you no longer have that message that you haven't turned in the assignment, okay? Okay, and this check-in video has been a lot longer than I really had wanted it to be or intended it to be, but I'm finally coming up to my last point. And again, I hope you sped this up. And the last point that I wanted to mention is just that I want you all to kind of do away with any perfectionist thinking, okay? When it comes to the LibGuide, what I want you all to be aware of is that you all are students. You all are at the student level, and so yes, you should be striving to put together a professional level LibGuide, but that is not an expectation I have of you. And what I mean by that is, again, so we're going to look at this. We're going to look at this rubric prong here. I mean, not this rubric prong, but we're going to look at the whole rubric here. I'm just going to scroll and show you all this. There is a lot going on here, and most people do not get 25s. And I know a lot of librarians come from experiences where they were like straight A students in National Honor Society and in the honors program when they were in college and all this, that, and other. I know a lot of librarians come from that type of background, and what I'm going to say is ditch it. Don't think that way. When it comes to this LibGuide assignment, first of all, the class is set up so that you can get an A in the class without having a perfect 100 and that sort of thing. And this assignment is set up so that even if you do not get a perfect grade on the assignment, that does not mean that you are going to fall short of getting an A in the class. The class is set up so that you can miss some points here and there and still get an A in the class. But what I want you all to realize is that getting a 25 out of a 25 means that you put together a perfect professional level LibGuide, and you all are students. So I'm actually not expecting that from you. So if you get a 23 out of a 25 or a 22 out of a 25, first of all, there is still a good chance that you're going to get an A in the course overall. But B, I want you all to realize that a 22 out of 25 on an assignment like this is not bad, okay? And that is something that if you're a perfectionist, that may be a little counterintuitive. But yes, if you miss points on this LibGuide, that means that you did a student mistake, and that is okay because you are a student. So having a 24 out of 25 still means that you were pretty damn close to professional level, and you just were a little bit short, okay? But if you are, again, if you are expecting to get a 25 out of 25, temper that expectation, because there's likely going to be something that comes up that causes you to be a little bit short of a 25 out of 25. But then B, in addition to tempering that expectation, what I will also say to you is you can still get an A in the class even if you do not have a perfect LibGuide. And in fact, you should not expect perfection from yourself, and you should give yourself some grace and realize that this is a learning process and you are in the process of learning how to do LibGuides. And so part of the learning process is making mistakes and getting docked for the mistakes you make, but internalizing the fact that you fell a little short of perfection and correcting yourself in the future so that you do better in the future. So it's really that simple. Okay, so that is all that I have to say, and from there you can look at the other materials. And again, I hope you sped this up. I am Dr. Jace, and yes, this LibGuide is something of a marathon race, but you are equipped for the task, and you will do just fine. Trust me. You've got a month, and within that month's time, I know that you all are going to do some splendid, splendid work. Take care, and I will see you next week for another check-in video, probably on Learning Express Library. Take care.